Homelessness in the Bay Area is not just what you see on the streets. Many unhoused families stay between friends' homes, motels, and shelters, and in their vehicles. While rehousing them addresses a crisis, they need more than rent support to stay housed and stable.
I'm Stacia West. I'm an associate professor in the College of Social Work at the University of Tennessee, and I'm also the co-founding director of the Center for Guaranteed Income Research at the University of Pennsylvania. Rather exclusively, what I study is poverty and potential ways or interventions that we might implement at system levels to mitigate poverty and its consequences.
Cash assistance, like Abode's Rapid Rehousing Cash Assistance program, RCAP, is one of the ways to prevent and address homelessness. RCAP provides direct monthly payments to participants for 1 year.
Broadly speaking, I can say most cash transfer programs that we're working with today are unconditional. And simply what that means is that the cash is provided typically on a recurring monthly basis for a span of a year to 3 years without conditions.
Poverty impacts short and long-term outcomes for families, making access to cash and the ability to spend it as needed a critical support.
For young people, kids especially, that experience homelessness, there are going to be negative consequences for their academic performance and later academic trajectory. The volatility of moving frequently can be disruptive to one's learning. Kids that perform better in school have parents that are able to invest time in things like extracurricular activities, sitting down after dinner and doing homework. Unfortunately, that time is very clearly connected to the financial resources that a family has. So if we look at a family that might be living in a hotel room, right? Mom might be working, kids are going to school. Whenever mom comes home from work back to the hotel room, she's figuring out what she is going to make for dinner, how she's going to stretch this budget, what are these other competing demands on her. And even though, right, she most certainly would want to spend time sitting down and doing that homework, there are entirely too many things pulling on her sort of cognitive capacity. Interestingly, what we have found whenever we introduce unconditional cash in financially unstable households is that one of the things that immediately happens is time spent with children goes up. And because of that, grades go up.
Access to unrestricted funds helps beyond just academics.
Of course, transportation is a big expense that people face, especially when they're living in areas where they aren't able to take public transit to get to appointments, get their children to school, or get to work. But by far and large, the biggest issue is childcare. So when we look at women that are experiencing homelessness, we know that many of them are survivors of intimate partner violence. We know that many of them are working to keep their children with them and to keep their families safe. And so whenever they are not able to find affordable childcare, that can threaten every piece of their well-being because it can prevent them from being able to go to work and to provide that money that keeps the roof over your head and the food on the table.
How much assistance makes a meaningful impact on outcomes?
We're seeing guaranteed income or unconditional cash programs starting at around $1,000 per month. We have seen pretty consistently that is the number that you need to start at in order to see downstream outcomes related to intimate partner violence, food security, housing, health, and mental health.
Cash assistance programs like RCAP do more than provide money. They show compassion and afford families dignity, joy, and a sense of normalcy.
There was a dad who was able to take his daughter prom dress shopping, and she didn't have to go to the sort of used, like, secondhand shop, right, where kids can go and pick out their prom dresses, but instead got to go to, like, Macy's, right, and feel like she got something new for that day. And so, you know, there's the impact on her as a child, but also the sense of dignity that the father felt in what he said, I could give my daughter a normal experience. There's stories of that. There's stories of folks buying birthday cakes for their kids, which is just not a luxury that you're going to splurge on whenever you're really, managing down to every last dollar. So I think those pieces of joy really need to be highlighted in these unconditional cash programs because I think they're incredibly relatable across the income spectrum.